Welcome to From Loneliness to Overflow with Matina. I'm your host, a holistic healing coach, divorce recovery coach, and a passionate advocate for personal growth and your guide on the journey to healing. This podcast is for those who are struggling with the feelings of loneliness, disconnection, feeling stuck, and who are ready to discover their inner potential and live a life overflowing with love and connection. Inside, we're going to explore the path from pain to transformation, bridging the gap between loneliness and abundance through heartfelt conversation, spirituality, energy work, and self-awareness. So let's get started on this soulful journey together. Welcome to another episode From Loneliness to Overflow with Matina. Today we're going to talk about the baggage we carry, the baggage we are holding on to, and taking life in a way as to what things mean. And what I mean by that is based on our upbringing, based on the belief systems and the values that we have created in our lives, we also have given a meaning to the baggage that we carry. Oftentimes, in many, many different books, you will find a chapter or a sentence or a paragraph around how we received a baggage from our parents or from our environment. And I'm not in agreement with that. The reason why I'm not in agreement with that is because we all carry the type of baggage that our soul and the evolution of our soul needs and requires. What do I mean by that? So I'll tell you a story about myself and how I got to understand that my baggage that I carry is very unique to me. I'm one of four from my parents. Every single one of us, all my sisters, are completely different. They have a completely different blueprint. Their baggage is completely different than mine. No one is better than or less than. No one is attracting more and attracting less. It is about the baggage that our soul gave a meaning to a specific experience, to a specific situation, to a specific sentence that maybe our parents or our friends or our family or our environment shared with us. So how can we then go around and say to the world, oh, I got this baggage because my parent did A, B, and C. We're all four sisters, got the same upbringing, but yet we are so different. So different. But wouldn't the logic of the baggage be because all four of us grew up in the same household with the same upbringing should have the same baggage? That's further from the truth. That's so further from the truth. And the reason for that is our soul will attract specific things. The conversation we have with our parents, be that your mom, be that your dad, or be that even the lack of conversation, creates a story, a narrative in our minds. And with this narrative, we go out in life and we try to figure it out. We try to find the answers. We try to understand why something is or isn't. For me, that was the same case. I have had multitude situations. And my baggage, my goodness, was so heavy. But with this baggage, I have a choice. I have a choice to sit down and open this back. Or I have a choice to continue and be busy with the day-to-day and the requirements of life and pretend that the baggage is not there. In all honesty, for a majority of life, I didn't even recognize or realize I was walking around with this baggage. I did not realize that I was walking around with this baggage. So what happened that made me realize that I am? For me personally, that was the time when I started asking myself better questions. Like, what do I want? And I didn't know what I wanted. Luckily for me, I came across amazing teachers, amazing guides who were sharing their own experience, who were sharing their own paradigms, their own perspectives, which allowed my narrow perspective to be widened. And as my perspective was widened, it allowed other opportunities for me to recognize that I was holding on to stories and paradigms that were keeping me in a certain frequency, that were keeping me a certain way of thinking. I've asked myself a long time, why is this happening to me? not making myself realize, like, why not? But that paradigm, that narrow mindset of why, didn't allow other answers in. Didn't even allow me to recognize that I was carrying a baggage, that I have a choice, that I have a voice, that I can lean into, learn from, carry in this world as my own frequency versus the frequency of life, the frequency of my circumstances, the frequency of what I perceive as a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, as a 12-year-old, as a 16-year-old. I didn't have the information that I have right now. I didn't allow myself to grow in the way that I am growing right now. Once I recognized that I have a voice, I have a choice, I sat down and opened my baggage, and I chose to see and look at the stories, the narratives that I had given myself, not my parents, not my neighbors, not my friends, that I had given myself to a specific situation. And I started examining these narratives. One of these narratives was, as a girl, I'm not meant to be heard. And this narrative was very sneaky. It was really literally pushed under the rug and just was sitting there. I didn't even realize it was there for a long time. Why did I create this narrative? Yeah, I was curious to understand why, but I also gave myself the freedom to not stick with the why. So the answer I gave myself of why was I holding on to this narrative was purely because my upbringing. As a girl, I was meant to be seen, but not heard. Don't be too loud. Don't be this. Don't be that. Make yourself proper for the situation that you're in. Now, after I've asked the why question, what do you do now? Now you've become aware of why this is happening. Don't stop there. Don't get trapped in the blaming game of who told you this and why they said what they said and why they believe what they believe. Because at the end of the world, at the end of the day, it's you who is the driver of your own life. So after I asked myself the why I had that paradigm, I stepped into, do I want to hold on to this paradigm? Do I believe in this paradigm right now? Do I want to teach this paradigm to my children? No, no, no. I got 3 no's. Okay, great. I know now that I don't want to hold on to a paradigm. Not for myself, not for my life, not for my children, not for my society that I'm creating. So if I'm not holding on to that paradigm that girls are meant to be seen, not heard, then how can I create the freedom for myself to speak up? How can I create an experience for myself and others to lean into? Me examining what was in my baggage, asking the why question, asking, do I want to hold on to this? Giving myself a no answer. I gave myself permission and the freedom to let go of that old story, the old paradigm, the old meaning that I had given my life. Now, Matina is meant to be heard. Matina is meant to be seen. Matina is meant to create from her own authenticity. What does that mean? I didn't know what that meant. I didn't even know how I was going to do it. But it was the decision that came first and the action that came after. So every time I was in a situation where I was not saying much, I started challenging myself. I started just talk. Sometimes I didn't even know what I was going to say. And I was just open my mouth and trust something good would come out. I've had situations where I was like, oh, this is cool. And I've also had situations where I was like, no, this is not for me. But because I gave myself permission, I was leaning in and I was making my baggage lighter. Now, this is just one of the examples that my baggage was carrying every single day for at least 36 years of my life. Do I feel bad that I kept carrying this baggage for 36 years? No. I feel so grateful that I got to recognize that this was a paradigm, this was a perspective that I was carrying. I feel so grateful that I gave myself permission to let it go. Before we continue, I would like to offer you something special. If you desire to deeper, more meaningful connections in your life and are looking to improve your relationships with yourself and others, it is time to make a change. I'm inviting you to join our Deepening Connections through Meditation group. Imagine improving your relationships through meditations that foster understanding and growth. Check out matinasingh.com/meditation for more details and use the code GROWTH for an exclusive discount. Now let's get back to our soulful conversation, helping you on your journey of self-awareness and connection. I feel so grateful that I was putting myself into new situations where I had to speak up. I got to learn. I got to lean in. I got to create from a new perspective, even though I did not know how this perspective was going to look like. So I created a certain amount of uncertainty in my life that allowed me now to build a new story, a new feeling of certainty, so that moving forward, I would not hesitate in being seen and heard. The baggage that everyone carries, the paradigm that we are taught through books, through conversations, through even some of the teachers out there, this narrative that we're carrying the baggage of our parents. Yeah, we created a lot of stories when we were younger, but we didn't have the knowledge or the know-how that we have as adults. You have the freedom to choose. You have the freedom to give yourself permission to let go. As comfortable, discomfortable, easy, uneasy it might be. Give yourself permission. Give yourself the right to choose. Give yourself the paradigm to be and explore yourself more than anything else. And be very careful with what you choose to believe in. Even my words, question them. I'm good with that. Create your own paradigm. I'm great with that. But question what you're reading. Question what you're seeing. Question what you are experiencing and leaning into, or maybe not leaning into. And don't get stuck in the why question. Don't get stuck in a lower frequency of blame and shame and pain. Yet give yourself that aha moment of, okay, I'm exploring this right now. Maybe I choose to let go of an old paradigm and an old story, but I don't know what I'm putting in place yet. Trust that every time you take something out, something new is going to show up in your life. Trust that every time you take something out, it's a learning process of giving yourself permission to make mistakes. When I was speaking up more and showing up more as myself, I still had a lot of situations where I wanted to say something, but I didn't. Where I was questioning why I was saying something and then putting myself down. That is a part of the learning. That's a part of creating a new paradigm. But in this creation, in this permission of failure, permission of experience, permission of wanting something new, I discovered that I am meant to be heard. And it's such a crazy thought to have. Like, what do you mean you're meant to be heard? What do you mean you give yourself permission? Of course you're meant to be heard. Sadly, that's not the reality for so many. I'm going to even go further. It's not even the reality for so many women till this day. When we give ourselves permission, we don't wait for the world to give it to us. When we give ourselves permission to fail, we don't wait for the world to blame us. When we give ourselves permission to grow, we don't wait for the world to cheer us on. We're just in our own beingness, doing what we like, doing what we love, doing what we believe in. And it requires for us to stop, assess, look into what do we want to create in our lives. And so many people don't even know that. They don't even know what they want to create in our lives. And this is why I've created the Deepening Your Connections Through Meditation program. This group really is there to not only let go and become aware of our baggage, but it's also there to discover what do you want. You don't have to do it alone. You create beautiful friendships and ways of understanding in a community. Every month we go and discuss specific areas of life. We discuss what does For example, what does my career mean to me? Where in my career am I seeking belonging? Where in my career am I seeking safety? And what does that look like? But also letting go of the paradigms of safety and belonging that are not healthy in this specific area of career. And now, as you've made space by letting go of old stories, you get to strengthen a new way of belonging, a new way of safety, a new way of creation with people around you that are going to serve you, that are going to create with you, that you're going to feel to be a part of. Let's get so clear on our baggage so that no one else in our lives determines how your life needs to look like. So you don't define yourself in this box of life, which has check marks education, check mark job, check mark partner, check mark children, check mark home, and we have made it in life. Believe me, every single part of that is important. For me, I recognized I got a higher fulfillment by understanding myself more. I got a higher fulfillment by creating a relationship, be that with my parents, be that with my sisters, be that with my children, be that with my friends. It doesn't matter. I get to create it. I get to create it. And as I get to create it, so can you. You too can choose a life without the baggage. You too can choose a life without fully understanding or knowing what this looks like and what this means to you, because you're not doing it alone. And that is the best gift that you can give yourself. The gift of community, the gift of life, the gift of creation, the gift of authenticity. In this world, if you can be anyone, be you. Be you fully and completely, authentically. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to share your magic. And this is a message from me, who's still creating my own magic, learning my own magic, learning to share my message with you. We're all on this journey of evolution together. I truly believe we'll never make it. We'll never make it. The day we make it is the last day on this planet for us. So the goal is not to make it or to fake it. The real true goal is to experience it fully. Be standing up for yourself completely and holding space in ways that you might not even think you can. But my gosh, you can. If anyone had given me a hand, a shoulder, any type of support system, and believe me, so many did. So many people gave me their hand. So many people gave me their shoulder to cry on. So many people gave me their hand to carry me through. So many people gave me their hand to carry me through. I did not do this alone, and neither do you need to. Find your tribe. You know, we tell ourselves these stories and paradigms of how alone we are and how we get to be in a way that we are right now because of A, B, and C. Yet we don't give ourselves the freedom, the choice to believe in ourselves fully and completely. Because when you do, your life changes. Your life shifts 360. When you believe in you, and only when you believe in you, will your life change completely. I already believe in you because I truly know, and this is a knowing, that every single person on this planet carries a uniqueness to them, carries a beauty in their heart that no one else can match. I believe in that uniqueness. So if you can't believe in yourself and you need someone to believe in you, I believe in you. Let's do this together. I hope today's message around carrying the baggage that we have served you in some way. Makes you question, what do you choose to believe in? Makes you question what is right for you. And if that's the case, I've done my job well. And if that's not the case, I've done my job well, because clearly you were meant to hear this. Thank you for listening. I hope this episode has helped you to feel less alone in finding tools towards a life which is overflowing with love and purpose. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a second to rate and review. Each review helps us to reach more individuals who are seeking healing and personal growth just like you. And don't forget to take a screenshot and share your aha moments on your Instagram stories and tag me, Singh Matina. See you next week. Take care.